Hello, I'm live. Are we here? Are we good? Wait, let me. Hello? Are we good? I think I need to raise the volume a little bit. Can you hear me clearer now? I think that kind of fixed. Wait, no, that's too much. Okay, there we go. I think that's like the ideal volume. I think. Hopefully. Yeah, okay. So, hi everyone. Good. Well, it's night, it's evening, as usual, midnight Korea time. It's now like, well, it's 10 p.m. my time, but it is what it is. Um, how is everyone doing? Um, I've been okay, been better. I really have nothing to do at work, like in the past few weeks. Hence why, if you see me tweeting, if you see me Gizmos of virusing on the TL in like broad daylight at like 10 a.m. It's probably because I have nothing to do at the office. So yeah, I've been sleuthing. I've been catching up with all the tea I've missed in the past few weeks. I've been busy, I guess. I don't know. It's my first week where I really had nothing to do at work. So, yeah, I have had a lot of free time. The only reason why I haven't been doing this as often is because I was down with something. I think you can hear in my last dumpster diving as well. I've been coughing for no reason. I took a rapid test just in case, and it came out negative. So I'm not sure what goes on. Like I'm in my Yoon Jong Han heavy smoker era, even though I'm not a smoker. Like what goes on at lungs, what goes on at internal organs, who knows? Who knows? But yeah, and then that's why I've been taking like flu meds after lunch, like every other day. And that's the reason why I knock out once I get home at like 6, 7 p.m. And yeah, hence why I haven't been doing this as often. Also, the WFH thing, I haven't had a work from home schedule. You know, I don't know if I will have one in the coming weeks despite the rise of cases. We shall pray. Please pray for Paranbit lives. Paranbit lives matter. Like, let's not, D word. Let's get that work from home back at Kwangya POS. And yeah, this is like the one day I didn't take my flu meds, so I'm awake. Yay. Awake enough to be ranting about stuff. So yeah, I tweeted what I was gonna talk about today. If there's anything else, I mean, you can always comment on the chat, like what you want me to search up and talk about. Um, but yeah, I mean, we can start with the. Well, it's not really light now, is it? But like the stuff I well, okay, let's structure this. So, like I had a like stuff that I want to talk about in mind, and it was wait, I had it listed. Let me go find it real quick. So I was gonna talk about like the alternate album versions thing. This like sparked up because of the whole Victon crusade against Victon and Chronograph, and how they have a special version of an album that only ships the photo card physically and everything else is given digitally, which I will get into because I think it's dumb that like, well, can I say a specific fandom? We shall say the troops. The troops are making it the whole big deal about this one version of an album. When we get into it later, like you'll see that it's not new. If you think about it objectively in its form, it's been done before. I don't know why they throwing a whole hassle and stuff. I'll get into why it's not such a big deal to sales in general, like how it's, I mean, it does inflate sales, but not in the way people think. Like there are ways to this, and the how do you say this? How the Korean like Gaon and Hanto like counts albums. I'll get into like the nitty gritty later and how that counts everything. I don't know if anyone like is interested in Trainee A. Does anyone here know about Trainee A? Follow Trainee A? Like aside from the whole misogynistic slash possibly racist lyrics they had in the evaluations, I really do not care much for Trainee A. But I thought it was fun. It gets into like Big Hit's debut plans for 2022, which I discussed with some sexy ooms, cause like I happen to be reading Instas again. It's my gabut era at work, so I was reading Instas and like this Trainee A stuff came up, and it came like the discussion like went further than just Trainee A. Like it went to like how Hybe and Big Hit has as a whole is planning to expand in the year of 2022. So I will be talking about that a little bit, and then that kind of ties in with the Dogyum joblessness stuff, which I will talk about. I have a lot to say about Mr. Dogyum joblessness, and this is coming from, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I am a carrot. As much as I market myself as being an anti, as being a Joshua Akge, as being a dog hive or whatever, I do like 17, like all of them, like a certified carrot. Like I can't even deny it anymore because I bought the Weavers Con ticket. I bought the power. Wait, I shared both the Power of Love ticket and the Carrot Land ticket and the Weavers Con ticket. Like I'm in deep. Like at this point, it is like past Akge territory. Like I'm just a full like fledged carrot at this point, and as a carrot, you cannot simply dismiss this Dogyum jobless era mistreatment. Okay, it's not even just like a dog hive Dogyum stan agenda. I feel like even as a carrot, you should be able to view this problem, this mistreatment and everything as objective as possible. I do want to ask permission to Miss Constellation to use the data from the spreadsheet, which we update the 17 spreadsheet like in tandem. She has sheets that she manages. I have sheets that I manage. It forms a whole picture. We will get into that later. Also, I want to talk about the Frisia stuff. Maybe we should start with that. Since I do have a couple singles Inferno enjoyers, as oomph, and there's been some stuff going on with Miss Songjia, Miss Frisia, if anybody knows her. But yeah, she got into like a scandal recently with her fake designer items. Wait, okay, let's open up the Panchoa article. I don't have the brain capacity to. Oh, that's not the blog anymore? Okay. I don't have the brain capacity to be translating stuff as much. Yeah. So we'll be taking some stuff from Pancho or whatever, the readily available translated stuff, and we'll get into that. Okay, so Miss Frisia, why she's such an it girl recently, but she was in Singles Inferno. I've no well, I've been watching her casually since 2019, 2020, because she's fun. A lot of people, I think like maybe people don't really get this, from watching her in Singles Inferno, or like watching like get not really getting to know her, but like if the first thing you saw from Frisia is her appearance in Singles Inferno, maybe you don't like get it as much. But at first, like when she was coming up in 2019, she was like, well, touted, like she was famous for being like an introvert beauty vlogger. So she's like a self-proclaimed introvert, and she hangs out with her mom a lot in her apartment, and she like plays dress up in her apartment, and then like does makeup and whatever, and that's like how she came up in 2019, and that's how I knew her. That's why when she came up in like Singles Inferno, and people are like, oh my god, she's like this like fabulous like bitch and everything, and she's like got all the guys in like her whatever, her charm, whatever, and shit like that. I was like, okay, that's not the Frisia I know, but like that's interesting. And I've seen her in like Radio Star's like equivalent show, and that's a lot of fun. But like I think she changed her image a lot between like 2019 and 2020, from like that whole introvert beauty vlogger niche to like the glamorous girl, rich girl persona, and if everything. And like it came out recently that she was wearing fake designer stuff on Singles Inferno, and like some of her like videos and like Instagram posts, like she was wearing this like fake Dior tube top, and also this fake Chanel like crop tee, like a dupe for the Chanel crop tee that um who that Jenny was wearing in one of the Blackpink like shows. Oh shit, shows or whatever. And like it's a big deal because like it's not just like one and two things, but she also had like a fake jewelry. I think it's not like from a big like designer brand, but it was like a famous from a famous Korean brands. Oh wait, here there's another like thing. I'll do that. And then here's like a more fake Chanel, and then fake, what is this? Marine Sayer, fake Marine Sayer and whatnot. So she got caught in like a lot of fake, like, um, what do you call? Fake designer items. It's like a whole thing, right? Again, fake Chanel sandals, fake, what is this, Versace bikini. I think it's kind of camp actually. I think she's like cool for doing that. It's very anti-capitalist for her to show up in Netflix and be just like, yeah, I mean like my fake shit. And it's like all cool, whatever. And like at first, I just kind of highlighted the whole fake designer stuff, and it's kind of I think problematic for Koreans. I think because they're very like against this kind of things, like fake stuff, whatever, you know. But also because like she's on an international platform on Netflix, and aside from that, like her YouTube like account, like she's a influencer before she was on Singles Inferno, like that's her niche, I guess. She her persona is like the rich girl, like she came from a rich family, and then like she can live like quote unquote like comfortably, like that's how she likes to frame herself, and being able to afford all of this stuff and still being humble, whatever, and then being like invited to a lot of like designer brand like sponsor deal shit. Like think of her like a influencer, like Kim Min Gyu level kind of thing. Like she just shows up at events sometimes, and then gets like sponsored posts sometimes, and then she has like designer hauls on her YouTube channel and whatever. And I think a lot of like K-nuts are like, okay, so like the hauls she did, they're all fake, what, like stuff like that. You're like they're reviewing her Chanel bag, saying that it's also fake, apparently. See, like the item that comes with like department store barcode and brochure are fake and whatnot. So yeah, and then when they ask her about like the size of the items that she bought, like you know how designer items is like have like specific sizing and like specific names for sizes of things. Think of it like the Starbucks like grande and venti and shit like that. Like when they ask her what's the size of the bag or what's the size of the jewelry, she can't answer what not. So a lot of people are like yeah, not happy about that. Well, there's an update to that. So at first it was just the letter, the handwritten letter she wrote on her Instagram, where it's like she's sorry for wearing fake designer stuff, and that in the future, no, and as someone who dreams to become like a to own her own label or to become like a fashion entrepreneur and stuff like that, she just wanted to look the part or like express her creativity, whatever. I think it was something like that. So she felt bad and she didn't think about the designers like as if she was in that position or something like that. So she apologized for it. But what came out is that it's not only that she wears like fake designer stuff, but like her whole persona, like the whole rich girl persona is all fake. Apparently, like it's a persona created by her management company, like her agency, which I think is interesting. Like you're making a the rich girl persona. Oh wait, rich girl persona like pseudo Jenny persona and marketing it as like an influencer. I think it's genius. I think that's like amazing. Like maybe people should get into that. Like it's giving very much um that fake influencer that Jimmy Kimmel did. Remember that like the girl on fire that did yoga and she caught on fire and all turned out to just be a prank by Jimmy Kimmel or something like that. It's giving very much that kind of vibe to me. Like it's camp. Like it's kind of cool. See, and I think that kind of explains the personality shift. Because remember what I said? Like she came up in 2019 for being like an introvert, like neat beauty vlogger. Like I don't know how that kind of transformed into well how she is now, like the rich girl, untouchable, cold princess persona. So yeah, I was just gonna highlight that. Like it's just um an update to the whole Frisia stuff again for my single Infernos oomph out there. Also that like not only like the characters created by the company but also that oh my cat is here. If you hear any cat sounds, that's just Panda being annoying as usual. Okay. Okay, can you shush please? Okay. And then not only that, but like her company like bought her house for her and her family, or at least like the house that she films in is financed by her company to create this rich girl image, and I think that's wow. Okay, hi Panda. What do you want? What do you want? Okay. Sorry, that's just my cat being clingy. He's going to be here, I guess, for the remainder of the time, unless I kick him out or he gets bored of bothering me. But if you hear any noises, it's just him. Okay, that's the whole Frisia stuff, I guess. That's like the whole update is that her company made it up. Her company bought her a house to film in. It's giving hype house, but like one person, and then she's. I don't know. I think it's kind of effective when you think about it. Like, mm, cause it's giving like Blackpink without having to like give the effort of being a girl group. And I think that's kind of genius because then she can just focus on being the influencer part of Blackpink. And it's like totally working because like I saw a lot of posts apparently on like oh wait, where was it? It was on DC Gallery or whatever, where it's like people are like, oh yeah, Won Young is definitely following her style and stuff like that because people notice a shift in Won Young's style and styling and her behavior, or like how she presents herself from like pre 2019, like, and then post 2019, and seeing as she's in the age demography of Freesia's audience, people have been making assumptions that she did it to like sort of follow in the footsteps of Gia, which I think is kind of interesting, because I do understand like the shift. Like I do kind of see it a little bit. If you see how she was styled pre Fiesta and then post Fiesta, you can kind of see it. She also got fillers recently to kind of emulate the kind of face features. So I think it adds up. So yeah, that's kind of like an update to the whole Freesia stuff. And I think next, while we're at it, let's go to the chronograph stuff. I think we should get into the chronograph stuff just because I think this will take the most explanation. Um well, it'll take a lot of explanation to do the interesting, but I have a lot to say about it as well. And I think if we want to make time for the Dorgium jobless and stuff, we have to tackle this whole Victon chronograph thing as fast as possible. Okay, as background, Victon is a group from IST Entertainment, previously Play M, previously Play, was it Play like A Cube, A Cube? The house, like now it became IST Entertainment because they merged Cracker, which is the boys' company, with Play M or Kakao M or A Cube, whichever name you're familiar with. So now it houses the boys, Victon, A Pink Weekly, and some other people I don't bother to know. But yeah, that's pretty much their company. Victon has been together since like 2016, and recently, they've released a limited edition album for their chronograph comeback where they just sell, it's called the platform album, and they only ship the photo cards physically. Everything else is still part of the album package but is shipped digitally, so you can view the music and the photo book from an application, while the only thing that gets shipped is the photo card. And then you get to choose the photo card as well. Where was it? Was it on Instas? Let me try to find that. It was trending the other day on Instas as well. So, maybe that's how you spell it. Who knows? It was trending. I don't know if I can find it though. I forgot what it was like titled. Van? We'll see. We'll see. Mm, yeah, cannot find it. But essentially, I think you can like pick the, what do you call it, the version that you want. So okay, wait, let's see if we can get some. Wait, okay, yeah. So you can like, I don't think you can choose the version. I think you can choose the version, and you get like the photo card you want. Some, oh yeah, you can. See, you get to pick like the member photo card that you want, which I think is like really interesting way of marketing it and like having it as a surefire way for collectors to get the photo card they want. You know, in a sense, because I'm not sure if they have the same photo cards as the normal version, but in this way, I think it's like a better way of selling albums. Though I'm not really sure if limited edition albums count towards fan signs. Though I might have to reconfirm this with Alice Oomph. I do have an Alice oomph. But yeah, not sure if this like counts towards the fan signs or not. Cause usually for fan signs, even if they put out like special edition albums, well not special edition, but like not a regular version of an album. It could be a keynote, it could be a jewel case, it could be the platform album, whatever you call it. It doesn't usually count towards fan signs. So when you say this solves the mass buying that goes into fan signs, that's a big like question mark for me, cuz again, there hasn't been any precedent of a group having their special kind of version of an album count towards fan signs. Usually, you still have to buy the normal version of an album for it to count as a fan sign entry. So there's a big question mark. If it does count toward fan signs, or this particular version of the album is the version that is used for fan sign lottery, I think that definitely helps with the waste generated by mass buying for fan signs. But I think this is more marketed or targeted towards photo card collectors, which I think is a big market as well. Because regardless of mass buying for a fan sign or not, I think people will mass buy albums just to get the photo card they want. So I think this helps solve that issue of people mass buying to collect a lot of photo cards, or because in a single pull or whatever, you buy 10 albums, and like like in that one purchase you only get like two members out of the six that is in the whole group or whatever. And then I guess that kind of solves the whole problem, because now you can pick the member you want. It's like a surefire way of knowing you'll get that member's photo card. So I think it's a good way to curb that, as seen with the citizens, the N citizens, dumping a whole bunch of NCT 2020 album and just taking the photo cards, or the whole Target thing. Does anybody like pay attention to like the Target TikTok thing, where the Target employee was like, stop tearing the plastic covers of album and just taking the photo cards without paying for the album, whatever. That's a whole thing, a trend apparently, that people go to Target to do that, just to steal photo cards. Apparently, so I think it's good way of curbing that. And yeah, so on that note, a lot of people have been very, well, not a lot of people, but as far as I know, um, what do you call that? Like a lot of troops have been very vocal about how this will ruin sales. This will ruin how they count sales and whatnot. And I think this is stupid. If you're worrying about like this ruining like how they count towards sales, like by them making a cheaper version of the album with less inclusions, people will buy more copies of the cheaper album, and that will count towards like a lump sum of sales that will then be like the chongpan essentially of a comeback. So it'll be like the total album sold. Oh my god, like it sold so many. It's like gonna be an inflation of numbers. It's not fair. It's not the same price, or it's not like a physical album technically. I think it's really stupid because there is a precedent for this, and I will be using Ataka by 17 as an example, because I think this bothers me so much. Wait, let me pull up the people's reaction to the Panchoa tweet. This is just stupid. And I will die on this hill as someone who like actively, well not actively, but I'm a hobbyist. Some will say I enjoy the act of, what is it? Oh, I enjoy the act of like analyzing a lot of these like sales and stuff and whatnot. I think it's just stupid that they think it counts towards the same number when it doesn't, and it hasn't for a while. Wait, sorry, that's some Jihanchol brain rot right there, but I was ranting about this morning. Like I woke up early this morning and said like let's pick a fight. Let's call some troops stupid. Oh, here we are. Uh, where was it? There was an army, like a troop tweet that I like, not like I quote RT. Was it today? No, I think it was like yesterday night. Oh, well, yeah, it was today. It was like early this morning. Okay, here. I get that collecting photo cards is fun, and I do think something needs to be done about albums getting thrown away because people only wanted the photo cards. But I don't think they should count as an album sale. Why not just make the album only containing CD plus photo card? See, here's the thing. It won't count, like, it does count as an album sale, but it won't count towards the same unit, if that makes sense. So, that's kind of a really weird, a very vague explanation of how, why does it count as a different unit? Like, what does that mean? Okay, so we shall explain it in real world examples, which is the Ataka album. Okay, so I made this observation. Okay, here. Okay, so this is the Ataka sales as per November 1st. I don't think this like the Twejong, like I think this person, like, they're very diligent. They're not even like I don't know if they're a carrot or not, but they kept posting this on the Yoyon Gel, like on DC Gallery, like the sales data for Ataka, and they do it like based on like the day-to-day updates given on the Hanteo Gallery. So this didn't come out of the Hanto Gallery, like they did it of their own like willingness to compile the data from there. I don't know. It was like weird stuff. I don't know if they're a citizen, like a very salty citizen, or if they are a carrot. But like, why would you update that on Yoyon Gel? I don't know. It was very weird. But we got that. We got the data. We got the Hennessy, as written on the right side. It's very true. So as you can see here, there is the photo book version, or what I will call the main version, is like the regular version of the album. There's the kit version, which is the Kino version of the album. I'll get to what a Kino is later. And there's the carrot version album. Here, this kind of represents the platform album, I guess, when if you talk about in terms of the Victon stuff. So the photo book and the Kino was released on the same day, which is the day of the comeback on the 22nd of October, and then they released the carrot version on the 29th, which I think is the same with Victon, or assume is similar, because the way, wait, where was it? The way this happened for Ataka was that they did pre-orders for the main version and the Kino version like since a month before they came back. So we had like a month pre-order, but they did not announce the carrot version until the 22nd. So they had all of this for a month. They had the photo book and the Kino version announced and ready to be pre-ordered for a month, but they only announced the carrot version on the 22nd. So when that released, they were like, okay, yeah, we prepared a different version for you guys, and it will be released a week later. So it was released on the 29th, and I don't think there were any pre-orders for this. Maybe there is, but it doesn't count to the same thing as the photo book and the Kino, because one, it's released on a different day. So I think it was for Hanto or Gone. I have notes for that, but because of the different day releases, it won't count towards the same unit. Like each album, say like the photo book version, like for Ataka, there's like OP1, OP2, OP3, or something. There's like three versions of Ataka. even though there's different versions of an album, if it's the same kind of form, the same kind of, it includes the same kind of inclusions, then it counts as a single unit. And I think Kino is like an exception to that or something, but it counts towards the same thing. So um it will have a single code for Hanto or for Gon. I forgot which explanation this is about, but like I'll have a note for that later, and we'll get into like which one goes into which counting and which one has same code and which one has a different code later. But essentially, even if an album has like two versions, three versions, four versions, it will have a single code, and some will include Kino, some won't. So sometimes Kino will have a different code, or it doesn't, or whatnot. But in essence, if you see like the total sales of an album, that means it's an album that is inputted with like the same code. Yeah, essentially. So if there's a version of the album that is inputted with a different code, then it won't count towards that same sales count because it has a different code. So they have it'll be counted separately, and that's essentially what's happening with this regular version, Kino version, and platform version with Ataka. I made a note about this because it was just like offhandedly mentioned on DC Gallery, and I am scared I will forget. See again, tweeting for my own reference. In October, I had my back. Like Miss Tal Dokje just does not miss. Like she backs up all of the receipts. So for Ataka physicals, it's Hanto counts regular version and kit version together, and then carrot version separately. I think that's because of the again different date of release. While Gaon counts regular and carrot version together, and then the Kino version separately. I think this is because of like inclusions. The Kino technically does not include a physical CD, so it gets counted separately. Troops, take note. Like it gets counted separately. And I think I divulged on that a little bit. Where was it? On like what's what? Mm, I know I did. Wait. Oh, here we are. Hmm. So, alternate. There's like three different types of alternative album versions that we can pinpoint as of this moment, excluding the platform version of albums. There's the Kino version, which is like a digital album and photo book. It's like a little square thing, and it has like a earphone jack on like one side of the square thing, and then you kind of plug it up your phone, like up the earphone jack of your phone, and you access it through like an application, and you get like the photo book. Like it's not a full photo book though. I think I remember the 17 one, like a really old Kino version of 17. It'll be like if the physical photo book is like 20 or 25 pages, then the Kino version is like 10 or something. It's not like the full version of the photo book, but you get like a digital photo book, and I guess it like depends. And then you get like in the application, you can listen to the album like as if you're streaming the album, but it's like downloaded, so it's a lot more stable, and you get like this whole thing in the application. It's really nice actually. I kind of like Kino. Sad thing though now, like a lot of phone companies, or most of them now, has removed the earphone jack from phones. Hence, the Kino version just does not make sense for the current consumer. So I understand why they can. I think they're trying to phase out this Kino version of an album. And the second one is a jewel case. So a jewel case is an old school CD case. You know, like those ones you get in like 2010s when you go to like Bistara and stuff. It's an old school CD case with like a lyric book, but the lyric book kind of functions as a photo book, sorta, but it's like a lot thinner, and yeah, mostly focused on the lyrics. But you get like some pictures, and I think you get to pick the cover as well, like which member you want, and then you get a physical photo card as well as a physical CD. Again, old school CD case, and I guess the difference that's the difference between Kino and Jewel Case is that one does not have a physical CD while one has, and Kino also does not have a physical photo card as far as I remember. So they only ship like the Kino to you. I don't remember it being including like photo cards. So I guess that's like a minus point for like photo card collectors. But I think Kino does count towards fan sign sales, like fan sign entries. But I've never seen it, so I don't know. Who knows? And the third type, which is I guess the most like similar to platform version, is the carrot version of Ataka, which I don't know if I a lot of people are saying is like the carrot version of Ataka release is like similar to a jewel case, but I would like to argue differently just because the carrot version of Ataka includes a physical CD and then individual version photo book pictures printed as photo cards, which I think is genius. It's like maybe Hybe kind of snapped there because it does include a physical CD, but it does not include a photo book, and the photo book pictures are now in the form of photo cards, which are then are tradable, and like you can like do trading with, like it's ammunition for trading for photo card collectors, and it is per member. So if you but it's like random. So if you buy the carrot ver, you can't pick which member you get. But when you get the for example, I got the Joshua version of the carrot version of Ataka, the Joshua cover, then the photo card inclusions of the album will be all Joshua. So I think it like plays into the whole akge market, as well as like for photo card collectors, or if you're like multi bias and you like this picture of A but you hate this picture of A, and then you kind of want to switch it up with like another member that you like, a picture from another member's photo book photo card collection, you can trade. And I think that's like the whole genius part of the whole carrot thing, of the whole carrot ver of an album. I think it's kind of similar with the platform version of the album, like, but with the platform version, I guess it's like a mix of a Kino and a carrot ver in essence, where the digital stuff, the CD and photo book is done like a Kino, but you still get a photo card mailed to you physically like a carrot version, although it's not to the extent of the carrot version where you get like a bunch of photo cards, because it's like essentially replacing the photo book. So I think it's interesting. I think like there is some use cases for this, but yeah, again, at the end of the day, it doesn't like matter, because a lot of armies are upset at it because it like skews the whole inflation of the physical albums, were not when it doesn't even count towards the same thing. Okay, as expressed here, regular and kit version of the album counts together in Hanto, while carrot ver isn't, and then in Gaon, the regular and carrot ver are counted together while the kit isn't. So in essence, like it doesn't count, you know. And I think this is also why the Gaon numbers for NCT albums are so high, is because they don't, I mean they do release Kino, I think, but not recently. I think it's because they just released like a regular version and a jewel case version, and then jewel case does count towards the same code if it's released on the same day, like not like later like the carrot version, and if it comes with the same inclusions, which technically without the photo book it kind of like comes with the same inclusions as a regular version. I think this is how SM kind of games the system a little bit with NCT releases to like inflate the numbers. So in that case, I think troops are misdirecting their anger. They shouldn't be angry at Victon or IST for making this, because it's been there. The seeds have been planted. Okay, it's been there for a while. They just have to. It's a different way of expressing it, and like chart like album data sales, like websites that count towards these things have had like ways to like circumvent, like to deal with these things. Like they don't just count towards the same code. There doesn't It doesn't reflect on the same sales data. Like God. And I'm very upset about that, and they keep like making it as if like it's gonna skew the numbers or whatever. Maybe like direct that anger towards SM and JYP, who are mass stalking their group's albums instead, for the number of album inflation, album sales inflation. Okay, and maybe lay off on Victon because it's been done, like this whole Kino stuff and Jewel case and Carrot version of albums. It's been there, and they know how to count it properly, so you do not have to like worry. Maybe worry about your faves coming out with a physical version of a single which contains two songs and two instrumental of those said songs, and how that counts towards Bonsang and Desang, making absolutely no sense. If you're gonna be picky about these things, then at least be consistent. And I do have a problem with that, by the way, because it's just like really stupid. Um, I have no problem with 2021 awards counting B as like a contender for Bonsang and whatever. It's like an actual album with like actual versions, and you know, like it sold really well, and it sold towards the end of the year, so it didn't count for the 2020 award season. So I get that. If B gets nominated, like okay, sure, whatever. But if it's Butter, if it's the Butter physical single, whatever you call it, I have some thoughts. Okay? It simply isn't a physical EP, however many times you wanna call it that. It just doesn't. It's a physical single. And even then, okay, even then, it's like it's essentially two songs. Like it's not an EP. Like oh my god. And that's the reason why even YG, remember the Big Bang Made era and the Winner Exit era, they had to end those things with an actual full album release, because those single physical singles don't count. They don't count towards Bonsang. They don't count towards Desang. It needs to be in an album. It needs to be a mini album, an EP, or like a full album. Hence why they had to make a Made album at the end of the Made project for Big Bang. Like, God, it's been done before. I'm so frustrated because it's like there are cases of this, and like they just need to search. They just need to look back and realize it's like an actual thing. So that's my mini rant on the physical album stuff, because it's just been bothering me as someone who does sales analytics as a hobby. But essentially, that's that. Because, like, I don't know. Like, they're just picking on them because it's easy, kind of thing. So, yeah. But, like, I think. Oh, yeah. Here's also, like, a statement from the Hanto chart gallery. Is where I source most of my data. So, they have the platform album here as a um, example. And then Promise 9 also came out with, like, Jewel Case. And then NCT 2021 also came out with Jewel Case. So they said that they will, as there's different, more like a bigger selection of like forms of a physical album, like platform album, jewel album, kit, LP, etc. They would be counting them separately for first week, I think. Ah, so if it counts towards the same code, if it counts towards the chodong of the album, of the main album, then they will reflect that on the on the Hanto counting on this DC gallery. But if it doesn't, then they would like mark it like appropriately, you know. So that's really nice. So yeah, there's like an official thing from the Hanto gallery like shut up. It does not inflate sales. Mm, oh yeah, just people talking about the NCT Jewel case being like a pseudo sajegi with 21 covers. Like, yeah, you know, it didn't sell that well though, so who knows? See, like the Jewel first week is like 150 150,000 copies. So yeah, it's like a thing. A lot of people just talking about the NCT Jewel cases. Again, it's been done before. It will be done again. I think another case of this like limited edition stuff. It was done for Love and Letter repackage. If everybody remembers the Aju Nice Love and Letter repackage album for 17, they had like two versions. One is like the regular version, and one is the limited edition version. A limited edition version includes like a DVD and like DVD photo book of like the Boy Swish concert, where it was like in 360p or something. And because they had different inclusions, they counted separately. I remember like a lot of carrots were being salty about that in like 2016, being all like, no, they're separating the counting of those sales, so now they're gonna have a lower sales overall total sales because it's like two different albums sort of when you count it like that. So that's a thing to note. Also, like there was like a similar problem with Formula of Love by Twice. Like they released like a new version of the album, but it added like a track. Like I think it added the Korean version of the Feels or something like that. So now that doesn't count towards the main sales of the album because the inclusions is different. Like in the CD, one had this like 10 tracks and the other had 11 tracks. So I think Hanto counts it as like a different CD. So even if they bought like the new version of the albums, it won't count towards the total sales of the Formula of Love album. So a lot of ones were very frustrated by that. Again, it's been done before. I think it's stupid that troops are like, this shouldn't count towards physical albums. Well, it doesn't. It's count separately. Like, shut the fuck up. Okay. So moving on from that, like trainee A stuff. Do you want me to talk about trainee A? I don't know if anyone's interested in trainee A actually for realsies, or if it's just me. But a lot of like K fans have been showing their distaste um for trainee A, like they just don't understand what trainee A is doing. Wait, let me get the screenshots. I had some screenshots from the sexy. I was browsing it on what was it? On Instas, and like I just happened to run into it because I think wait, there's like there has been like what is it like talks about trainee A recently and it being like a big hit project, which I think is interesting. Like it hasn't really been disclosed or exposed like explicitly that they are a part of the big hit hype project or which label they belong to. But for some reason people are very sure they are big hit. And they're not really sure what goes on with the big hit A&R team because it's like a whole mess. Aside from the whole racist stuff. Um, like they're they're pretty much giving 17 TV content, sort of. So they have like monthly evaluations and like live streams of sorts. I don't know. I don't follow Trainee A, but they do that, and then like the fans could watch or whatever. And apparently they have like a foreigner trainee named JJ who's half Chinese, half Thai, and he cannot speak a word of Korean. So a lot of K-nuts have been like very apprehensive or like expressing their distaste of JJ. Wait. Oh, I copied it to the wrong tab. Wait. Let me get this screenshots up. I opened it in the wrong window. Oh my god. Okay. Mm, okay, I think you can see them now. Maybe? Okay, wait. I guess I have to do it. Oh no, yeah, you can do it now. Okay, see here they're showing their it's like a whole rant about Big Hit's new like group under their label. They're pretty much saying that they don't understand that like what the A&R is looking to do with this group. Like they look like a bunch of like foreign TikTokers apparently. Which I mean, they're not wrong. They look like a group of like very like just just a couple of guys. Like it's giving NCT Hollywood without meaning to. And like that's like the weirdest thing you could say about a big hit group ever. But it's giving that. And then on top of that they're doing 17 TV cosplay as like their trainee days content, which is interesting, but also like it's making no noise. And then on top of that, they have like problems like the again the racist, misogynistic lyrics by one like Leo or something, and then this JJ guy not speaking a word of Korean. So they had like a translator, like a Thai translator, I think, on deck while they were live streaming the monthly evaluations. So a lot of the fans are like, "What? Like, how are you debuting in Korea and not speak like a word of Korean?" So that's one thing. And another is this JJ member, the same guy that can't speak Korean. He was caught being on Omegle and like chatting with uh like foreign girls on cam, and like it's a random chat thing, and then he got caught by like one of the fans who like connected with him. So that's always fun. Like, why are you as an idol trainee on Omegle? Oh my god. And it's like they're saying like it's not a good site, it's like a 19 plus site, wherever. Which I mean, fair enough. I've seen like my fair share of like sketchy shit on Omegle. Okay, so why are you doing this pre-debut? It's giving just BJ potentials. It's giving Africa TV potential of disaster. Park Ji Hoon dating a BJ camera girl disaster waiting to happen. So I get like people like K Nuts being concerned about this, especially coming from Hybe, Big Hit. Like, why are they like? I think that this okay again. This is why I said like this conversation just doesn't stop with Trainee A, because I think it has to be like about Big Hit as a whole, or like Hype as a whole. I guess. Why are you as a company expanding so big so fast? Like we were talking about like the plans for 2022, and they're planning to debut this group, the Trainee A group, and then according to the timeline from the company briefing, they're supposed to have the Trainee A group, the Hype Japan boy group, Pledis new boy group, the Sakura group, the Island 2 group, the Minhijin group, and the Hype Japan LDH girl group. So they're supposed to debut 7 groups next year. That's a lot of groups to debut. Well, not next year, this year. They're supposed to debut 7 groups this year. That's a lot of groups to debut in a year. And I know it's like all different labels, but let's be real, they can't keep up this whole label pretense. Like, we know, okay, we know you bought 17 only for 200 billion won, and Floppist and Fromis is just an add-on to that deal by proxy of buying 17, because 17 has been included in like quite a lot of big hit only things. You know, Weaver's Con isn't really, but like apparently 17 is supposed to be added to Rhythm Hive, which that's interesting. You know, they closed Superstar Pledis for that, but like to add them to Rhythm Hive is a big deal because I think Rhythm Hive as of now is only Bangtan, 2 by 2, and what is it? And Hypen. So for 17 to join Rhythm Hive and have their songs in the quote unquote big hit rhythm game is a big deal, and that kind of shows like this label pretense is just all facade. Like, it's just big hit. Like, it's just, let's be real, everything is just big hit. Hype is just big hit. So yeah, and then they're also like saying that the I no what was it, the Sakura group will be from Source Music, but the Minhijin group will be from Adore, when we all know, I think that's kind of, even if they keep up with this label pretense, I'm pretty sure that's just one label. It's the girl group label. So I don't know. That's sketchy in a sense as well. And like to debut 4 boy groups in a year, like with what trainee? Like I know Hype Japan is still doing auditions right now. Trainee A has enough trainees to debut, I think, but I heard like last year a trainee left. So that's a thing as well. And then the Pledis group, like I don't even know, like what what will the lineup even be like. You know, I know a lot of people are hoping Daniel from Island will be in the Pledis new group, because I I think he might be in the trainee A group though, to be realistic. But a lot of people are hoping he's gonna be in the 17 2.0 Pledis new boy group lineup, which is also fair enough. I prefer him in the Pledis boy group, honestly. But if he does like cross transfer to Pledis from Big Hit slash B Lift slash CJNM Wake One, I think that'd be interesting to observe. It's giving Joyuri and Hoyeonjin training together pre Produce 48, only for them to appear as trainees from different labels. Like, we know. We know you're just one label. Like, you can stop pretending, that you're different entities. So that's a whole thing. And yeah, I just don't get the direction of the casting, or what age group or what niche they're trying to target with trainee A, as with the K-Nets. And I think that's like kind of what I'm confused with all of these groups debuting so fast, or like so close to one another. Like, maybe the Hype Japan girl group, I understand that would be mostly in the hands of LDH. Maybe they will use the big hit system, whatever that system is. But I think the producing and the promotions in Japan would mostly be on LDH anyways. So I understand that, but like the Island group and then the Minhijin group, like that would probably be targeting the same age group and demography. So I don't understand why they're going to be debuting them like so close to one another. I can see the Sakura group having a very distinct niche, being ex Eyes One fans and Ajoshi fans, I guess. But the what do you call the Island 2 group and the Minhijin group, I think, is bound to clash. So I don't understand why they're debuting both and not just like morphing them into one group. Like have the Minhijin trainees come on Island 2 as trainees and be like, get that spotlight girl kind of moment. Give it a bit of produce evil editing spice here and there, and we're good. They'll get like a solid fandom from that. I don't understand why they have to do both. And yeah, I think that's just my ish with Hype, which I think transfers on to my frustration with Dogyom joblessness. Like, oh my god, this has just been bothering me. And Dog Hive Ooms, like, I mean, faring through 2020 post Excalibur High was something. I think everyone was just feeding themselves or deluding themselves into feeling a sense of, how is it, like a sense of calm, a sense of safety, knowing that Dogyum has debuted in 2019 with Excalibur in musicals. So 2020 being a dud was one thing. Also at the time we're very not, how is it being optimistic if we want them to disband? Question mark. Like at the time I think Dog Hive, we weren't thinking much about the possibility of early renewal, or if renewal at all was coming that soon. We were aiming for a 2022 renewal, and if they were to move it like earlier, then it would be like it would mean disbandment or some members leaving. So for it to just blow up in our faces and that they are all renewing early was a whole trip. We were already having disbandment fantasies in 2020. So that wasn't a great thing to deal with. But like 2021 has just been so rough on Dog Hive Naders. Like you have to understand that we were deep in the trenches, okay? And I think we need to discuss some spreadsheet data for this, which I don't know if I can stay up for any longer. I'm feeling a bit sleepy now. Honestly, it's like 11. I usually sleep at like 9:30 from the flu meds. So I don't know if I can stretch this out for quite a long time. Sorry to disappoint Miss Constellations here, but yeah, we have a spreadsheet here going. I think we'll keep this a bit brief because I'm just trying to vent out my frustrations. As I can say that I mean I like Dogyum. He's definitely part of my top 5, but I think there's like this perception of people complaining about Dogyum mistreatment just being Dogyum Akis, and I think that's like you dismissing his like clear lack of solo schedules that are given to him by Pledis is you being complicit in the mistreatment and you not being an OT13 carrot in a sense. I think a lot of carrots mistake being supportive of all 13 members uh despite all of the mistreatment as being the ideal carrot, like not stirring the pot. But I think if you are genuinely a supporter of all 13 members, then you would take note of the disparity in solo schedules between Dogyum and the other members, and how it's not fair and it makes completely no sense at all. So getting into that, um, I had a mini breakdown of. Wait, let me. Before we get into like the data stuff, I think I had like a mini rant about this, like explaining why I'm very upset about Dogyum joblessness, and it was mostly because like um the way Pledis is distributing the solo schedules make zero sense. Okay, where was it? This is me ranting about that. I've been ranting a lot recently. I just need to vent out my anger. Well, not my anger, but like my energy somewhere because I haven't been. There's nothing to be productive about at work. So that just kind of translates to me using the energy to be productive elsewhere. In that sense, I've been using it to rant. Where was it? It was like yesterday night where I was. Oh, here we go. Here we are. Okay. So I stated that it's not a matter of not being able to be happy for other members, but the disparity in solo opportunities and schedules, which is true. It's just you cannot deny the data. Like, what is their excuse? Because with Dogyum particularly, he's said multiple times that he has ambitions in singing, he has ambitions in acting, in musicals, and even as a um what like a variety personality. I think he works like great. Like him, like he's one of the main like characters I would say in Going 17. So like he has um like variety show potential as well. So for him not to be shown in any of these things is just ridiculous. And it's been, and it's like one thing to be good at something but not wanting to do it, but it's also another thing if you're good at something and you want to pursue it. So for him to have both the talent and ambitions, and for it to be wasted on this unfair distribution of schedules and mistreatment is just ridiculous. Okay, getting into it, I think when talking about solo schedules and um their ambitions, you know, I think what the member wants to do and their passion and their skills play a lot into it, I guess, but it's more of like their ambitions. I think they can, idols can work towards something if they really want to do it. Say Temin being locked up in the SM dungeon, debuting, not being able to sing, but having the ambition to go solo. So after spending years in the SM dungeon, suddenly he gained the skill to sing fantastically, by the way. And that just shows the ambition and the drive to do something can amount to skills catching up in later time. But I think having an ambition and passion to do something is very much the forefront, should be the forefront in like this um solo schedule distribution. Wait, what? Giving feedback? Is it like, is my voice doubling? Is that it? Maybe I should hold it closer. Thank you for the feedback. Again, it's just me being very ranty, and I think that kind of like messed up with the, how do you say it? Like the movement of the mic a little bit. I kind of swang it a bit too hard. Is it clear now? I hope it's clear now. But yeah, I think ambitions and a passion of what like a member's ambition and passion should be the forefront or the driving force of deciding what solo schedules they go to and like what schedules they get, you know. And I think Dogyum has a plentiful of ambitions and passions he has expressed beforehand. So for it to go to waste is just sad. is just disappointing. It's just, why waste such talent, you know? And again, if members have expressed ambitions to pursue a certain thing, and Huesa here being Pledis has given them the opportunity to do so, then I'll be rightfully happy for them. Which, again, I was rightfully happy for someone to be casted in, what was it, the questionable Q? No, it wasn't. Yeah, questionable Q at first, which is like the a song guessing show, which flopped, by the way. It got cancelled, but it was fun. I actually enjoyed that show. They had some interesting guests, and like the games weren't that bad, so they had to like sing along to a medley of like K-pop songs and like guess the lyrics and stuff like that, which I think it's entertaining. It has nothing. It has nothing when compared to Amazing Saturday, though. It premiered on the same time slot, so well, it's the fault of the producers a little bit and why it flopped so hard. But yeah, if like a members express like a certain affinity for one thing, like for maybe like June has said he wants to act, so for him to get the actor exposure and get a drama in China, I was rightfully happy for him. I'll be tuning into that drama. Like, it's cool, it's cute. But if these ambitions are not expressed by said members, and then the company gives them said schedules or said opportunities anyways, I think should there's something wrong with that. In that, maybe if they have an abundance of schedules to be distributed fairly, that would be one thing. But if it's a limited amount of opportunities and they keep giving it to the same members to whom they never express they have interest in said things, then it's a problem. See, there's like the three things I think they should consider when giving solo opportunities with it, which is a members' ambition. Like, do they have a passion? Do they actually want to do it? Do they have a passion for it? I.e., like Hoshi solo. That makes sense. He has said before that he has a passion to release a solo song and to promote it and to make the choreography and everything. So for him to do a solo promotion makes sense. That checks out. The math is mathing. Public response is the second um factor to this, and this goes into like members having scandals or people's perception of said member. This I think will go into more like the Lord DK gate, landlord gate, and also in contrast, we can see with how Pledis was dealing with the Mingyu uh bully gate and collage gate, and how like the public hasn't forgotten. Okay, the North has not forgotten the fact that Mingyu Bullygate was one thing. I know that was like completely laundried. He's now a fresh, clean sheet of paper with the Bullygate stuff, but people has not forget the Collage Gate. Collage Gate still lives in people's minds, as well as the the Itaewon Gate as well. So for him to make like two scandals in 2 years that has affected going 17 greatly and still benefit from these like the Pledis's like bias for solo schedules is just ridiculous. Again, because people keep bringing up every time he has like something like a sponsorship, whatever, and then I see on DC Gallery, it's like, isn't that guy that got like into like misogynistic collages or whatever? So the North has not forgotten, and that like, why would you give opportunities to members who have a bad public image? Like, the math is not mathing, you know. And C, fair distribution of solo opportunities. And this comes back to like what the company can gain from the solo opportunity. Does giving member a solo opportunity brings back the same amount of exposure or whatever or response that benefits the company. I think this is very much evident in Dogyum's run in Excalibur because that gained him a lot of exposure towards musical fans that has translated into Going 17 enjoyers and carrots. Like a lot of people were curious about Dogyum, curious about 17 just from him starring in Excalibur. So like this also plays into again opportunities. This is why I give some schedules for June and the 8th a pass. I've talked about this on Twitter a couple times, maybe not on dumpster diving, but right now in Hive, June and the 8th are the only idols able to promote in China, and I think it would be dumb for Pledis and Hybe not to take advantage of that because a BTS is blacklisted in China, sort of question mark. This has something to do with the whole Samsung campaign and the UN, them saying that Taiwan is its own country or something like that. Or they use like a map that acknowledges Hong Kong or Taiwan as its own territory or something like that. So they're blacklisted question mark from China, and it's not like they can promote there anyways. They don't have any Chinese members, whatever. So they're out of the picture. 2 by 2 has Winning Kai, but I don't think they're marketed towards like East Asian audiences. They're more geared towards Westerners, anyways. So they're out of the picture. And Hypen has no Chinese members, and they're still a rookie. I don't know what they would gain from um, promoting in China. I don't think they have a fan base to gain in China, so they're out of the picture. New East is also blacklisted in China. That's a whole story with New East M and Jason. If anybody remembers Jason from New East M. Anyways, New East is blacklisted in China as well. So yeah, their only hope is 17, and in 17 there is June and the 8th who are Chinese members who can translate to the Chinese audiences better. So sometimes I do discount their solo schedules as purely being the only way Hybe can engage with Chinese audiences and get that yuan. And business wise, it kind of makes sense, even though maybe the 8th or June is not the best pick to release a solo single. Like, they're not singers. I'm sorry, they're just not. So, that is a thing. But in China, a lot of artists promote that way, like with solo singles. So, for them to break into the Chinese market, something they have to do, yada yada. It kind of plays into the Chinese market or whatever. So I do give them a discount sometimes for solo schedules. Like, it's not like it bothers me, but it exists for a reason, and it does benefit the company in the long run. So I can't really say anything about that. But there has been some schedules that do bother me because it just be making no sense. Said list includes Joshua getting an acting gig in 18 despite not expressing any interest in acting nor attending acting classes, which is apparent in his delivery of the line surprise in the most awkward way possible. Second, Vernon getting a skincare sponsored magazine shoot despite himself expressing in the interview being like, well, I'm not really that interested in skincare. I only got into it recently, and I'm not really like all that into it. Like, I don't know all the products. I just use the bare minimum. So why is he getting a skincare sponsored ad? Well, sponsored shoot on a magazine. Like, it's making no sense. The math is not mathing. Secondly, I think this plays into Does it benefit the company? Does it really? So Sungkwan keeps getting like variety show schedules and permanent spots in reality shows, like variety shows, and I think Pledis really works hard to get him these spots. The thing is, like, he does not have the greatest track record with permanent spots in shows. Okay, questionable Q cancelled. Uh, Prison Life cancelled. Um, that show with Jin Hyuk, like the five ranking thing with Jin Hyuk and Jun from God and Janghoon So Janghoon and Isugun. That's cancelled. Um, what else? Racket Boys is on like the first season, I guess, is done already. I don't know if they're shooting for a second season, and we don't know if Sungkwan's returning. And then, um, Idol, the Abatte, Idol Dictation, um, Idol Dictation competition, I guess. He was on there on season one. It's why he left in the soup for like a day. He was out shooting Abatte and then he came back. He was there from on season one, but suddenly he's gone. He's no longer part of season two. I don't know if that's because he's too busy or what. But what's the point of giving him that spot if he's just not going to return for season two? Like, the math is not mathing. Like, they just giving him shit for giving him shit. Like, the Yenning spots are not generating nothing. Okay, so again, that plays into, is it beneficial for the company? Thirdly, the Mingyu thing. He has like the worst public reception out of all 17 members. So why does he get the most sponsorships? Like, make it make sense. Like, why does he get the image laundry treatment? Like, where is this energy for our landlord? Again, this is all despite him causing trouble to Going 17 not once but twice in the past 2 years. Like, oh my god. Like, a Pledis fave is a Pledis fave. Like, you cannot deny it. You cannot deny the data. It's there. And this will get into the this timeline. I think what bothers a lot of Dogyum stands as well is not only the lack of solo schedules. Even if there are any solo schedules, it's mostly by his own initiative, or from EMK, the musical company, not from Pledis. On top of that, Pledis keeps scheduling 17 like schedules, like 17 promotions and 17 group stuff when Dogyum is busy, when it could be easily mitigated by planning ahead and doing it on the times where Dogyum isn't doing musicals, or scheduling Dogyum's musical when 17 isn't doing any shit. Like, it's just, why purposefully make him busy? You know? It has happened not once but twice. The first time during hit, like, Fear promotions, like, and a lot of carrots were excusing it, being all like, well, he was busy with Excalibur. That's why he has a lot less lines in hit, a lot less lines in Fear. Like, he's the main vocal. They should compromise for him. Like, I don't understand why, you know? And it overlaps. So they did Fear and hit while he was practicing for Excalibur, like the first run of Excalibur. So his time was divided. He was not focused. He was, I think, stretching himself too thin at the time. And when Fear promotions ended, or at least like at the tail end of the Fear promotions, he started like the Excalibur musical dates started. So he got on to that, and then after that, he went straight to year-end shows for 17. Because at the time, Jonghan and Scoops was out of the picture. They were on hiatus, so all the more reason why he had to be there. And it's just like poor management from Pledis' side. Like, why have it that they like intersect? Like, why not just schedule things so that things don't overlap? Like, it's that easy. And it happened again during Excalibur. So the second run of Excalibur, um, he, as you can see here in the diagram presented by Miss Constellations, rehearsal started in July, and it's at the like it starts the run starts in September, and they just had to schedule a Taka and Power of Love concert and Power of Love single for end of the year, while Excalibur's runs actually up till November. But I think Dogyum's like, so they, for the role of Arthur, like it's not only one actor doing it, so there's like multiple actors doing the role. And so they did not schedule any shows for Dogyum Arthur in November because of Ataka and everything. They had to cut it short just because of 17 stuff, when that could easily be mitigated by moving. As you can see here, the 17 schedule is like pretty empty in like February, March, July, or whatever. They can easily do the comeback before he has to do Excalibur, so he can do the whole Excalibur run in full. Like, it's just the poor management, you know. And not only that, he's been jobless since November. Like, by the end of Excalibur until now, he's like jobless because of the Lord DK gate. And it's making no sense because a lot of people are saying, yeah, he's taking time to like repent, to like reflect, but that same energy wasn't given to Mingyu. As you can see here, the bully gate and the collage gate happened within like February, March, and April, and then it's like no problem, smooth sailing for him. He's now on magazines, on like having a duet with Miss Ihai, doing OST, doing variety, doing magazine shoots and everything. And it's just like, why though? Isn't he supposed to be reflecting? Isn't he also supposed to be repenting? Like, why is it the treatment is not fair? You can recognize this, just like, even you don't have to be a dog hive to recognize this unfair treatment. And we're just frustrated that it's like pigeonholed as a an obsessive Dogyum fan thing when the data is right there. Why was he jobless for 6 months before Excalibur? Like, make it make sense. Okay, for the year of 2022, I think a lot of Dog Hive Naters are just holding on to the fact that he might be in The Man Who Laughs, praying to God, um, prayer circle, everyone. He gets booked and busy. You know, I just hope it doesn't clash with another 17 comeback. Like, the dude is being stretched too thin. Like, for God's sake, just let him shine for once, okay? And like, and it's a consistent pattern too. As you can see, I don't know. I don't think the 2020. Oh yeah, the 2021 one is more update. Thank you, Oomph. But like, um, she datas most of like, the schedules, like brand being like sponsorships, and then there's a face of brand, which is Jonghan with the Vanilla and Co stuff, and then variety show appearances, magazine shoots, any solo releases, OST, like pseudo mixtapes, like the songs they release on YouTube, like Dream and Horangi Power and stuff like that. Any dancology, radio stuff, Huya and everything. She kind of takes note of that, and even with everything like added up all together, Dogyum is like in the year of 2021. He's been only on like he has like four distinct things that he did. This is already including Excalibur and the shoot that EMK scheduled for him to promote Excalibur. So that's like two things. He was only scheduled for two things by Pledis, which is the Huya Super League, in which he appeared a total of like 3 times, and what was the other one? And a YouTube cover. That's it. Like, make it make sense. There's also the You Are My Christmas, which is the digital single, but as Oomph pointed out, it was released like too near to Christmas, and then so people kind of listened to it for a week and then promptly forgot about it after Christmas has passed. Maybe if they released it earlier in the month, like December 1st or something, people will get more listens out of it. But again, poor planning from Pledis, we've been new. So all of this kind of amounts to the fact that it's just this whole thing with Dogyum. Like, he does not deserve to be this jobless. He does not deserve to be peeling mandarins on Weavers. Wait, no, Instagram story. He does not deserve to just be laying around doing nothing in the dorms. Like, give my man a job. Oh my god. Because he has ambitions for it. It's different if it's like Joshua. He's living his best life, just doing his hobbies. Right now, he's into flowers and like being a plant dad. So good for him. That is his ambitions. Like, let him live his life. But for Dogyum to be jobless, that's just cruel. That is just, oh my god, you're wasting so much talent, kind of cruel. So that's that. That's my rant on that. I don't think I have anything else to talk about. That's kind of it. I'll give like a little bit of time if anybody wants to ask anything. We still have time. I usually do this for like 2 hours, so it's just been like an hour and a half, a little bit over an hour and a half. So if anybody wants to ask, wants me to cover something, talk about one thing, like, feel free to hit me up. I mean, on the topic of spreadsheet, on the 17th spreadsheet, I was updating the creative section of the 17th spreadsheet, and that kind of frustrated me a little bit. Because, surprise, surprise, they were working with the creative minds behind the boys' branding and design, which I think is very on trend, has always been on trend, and kind of shapes like a very Gen Z feeling with the boys, which I really enjoy. Like, they're always so on trend with like design trends and everything. And surprisingly, 17 worked with the same designers, graphic designers for Ataka, but the results were not great. I think I can definitely feel the sense of that, like, sensibility in the music video. I liked how they did the collage, sort of a lot of like paper transitions and stuff, which I think it's very much on trend, you know. But the album is giving nothing. The teasers giving nothing. Like, it's very different from uh was it Heart Stealer? Oh no, The Stealer. The Voice is The Stealer. The Voice is Thrill Ride, which is very much conceptual in the sense that um is very just on trend. I don't know how to describe it, but the style of it is just, the way the concept is presented is very cohesive throughout, from the album design, teasers, music video. It's just all of it. And then in the album itself, in the photo book, like, the design is also very much on point. even with the concepting of like the photo shoots, you know. And I think that same energy just wasn't found in Ataka, despite working with the same designers, which is a disappointment, honestly. And that kind of just spiraled me a little bit. But like, we've been new. Me updating the creative um sheet for the past few comebacks has always been like a challenge, because I always end up looking up like who else the designer has worked with, like which albums they have designed before, and for the photographers, what photo shoots they've worked on before. And it's always something like very stylistic, like them working with um for like Kim Hee-jun shot for Blackpink, like the How You Like That, like iconic teasers. And then I think here Studio Gray, no, Odd Hypen. Odd Hypen worked with like NCT and Super M design, like for the albums and stuff, and that's always on point as well. So why was the energy not brought into 17? Like, who knows? The in-house creative directors in Pledis just sucks ass for real. Like, Pledis hire me 2023 maybe. But yeah, I think that's about it. Me ranting just to get my energy out. I'm like very sleepy. I don't know if you can tell. I sound very delirious right now, just from being a very sleepy. It's like 11:41. This is like way past my bedtime on flu meds. So I think it's best that we end it here. This show, well, not show, this dumpster diving will be available on the Paranbit channel as usual. I'll also update the playlist, the dumpster diving playlist. So if anybody wants to re-listen from the top, that would be there. Um, yeah. So that's that. A message from the sponsors for this episode would be to stream Fried Chicken by Shannon. I do be enjoying it. It's a good song. She's very quirky, but it's really good. Prism Filter unofficial member. She also posted on her story of her singing the demo for Wadada, which is like really amusing. But that's another story for another time. But that's a little message from the sponsors. Um, so yeah. I don't know when I'll be doing the next episode of dumpster diving, but we'll see. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Bye.